revenue driver.
That was close.
Santa? Oh, hello.
I'm okay.
Oh, you just saved
You know, if I'm bringing you some news, it's gonna be something that you can use.
Save the holidays. It's an oldie thing.
It's only a hike. It's only made possible by Spectrum Business connecting healthcare providers of all sizes. Like hospitals relying on the Spectrum Fiber broadband network with industry-leading reliability. Practices keeping patient data safe with advanced security. Pharmacies accessing records in the cloud without fail. It's tailored connectivity solutions built for life-changing moments. It's only a hike. It's only everything. Spectrum Business.
All right, welcome back. So CNBC Pro ran a screen on the most oversold stocks in the market that could be primed for a comeback. I have them in front of me. We will go through some of the names that are on the list that are owned by the committee. Lamb Weston, Surratt, was down almost 9% last week, has an RSI of 28.8. You own that, Nate.
I do, and it's a micro French fries. The stock ran after earnings, did very well, and now I think some profit sharing. We still like the company. It's a core holding, so I would be buying this.
You buy it because you like French fries?
I love French fries. No.
Thank you. Block was down 6.8% last week, 26.8 is the RSI. Joe, you own that. You own Super Micro, which is on the list. You own Axon, which is on the list.
So put Block and Super Micro in the same category. Technically, they look awful. They're also seeing a little bit of deceleration in revenue growth. Profit margin not really expanding to the degree I would like it to. Axon, that's in more of the category of momentum winners, like an AppLovin, like a Palantir, that needs to work off an extreme valuation. At a certain point, I believe it will. At that point, you'll see the double-digit revenue growth gains come back into play. You'll see the very strong ecosystem as it relates to law enforcement and the usage of technology. I think that one has an opportunity, but it's probably a little further down the line.
Block's target got cut today to 45 from 60, reiterated sell at Rothschild. So they do not agree with this screen, that it's poised for a comeback.
Obviously, nor do I, based on what I said about that and Super Micro. I think the charts in both look awful.
So Iron Mountain's on the list, Molina Healthcare, Charter Communications, Alexandria Real Estate, and Surratt, your Oracle, is on this list, poised for a comeback, according to the 10.5% decline last week and an RSI of 24.4.
I mean, Oracle's the only one that I own on those.
So let me ask you a question.
Scott.
When I brought up Oracle, I looked over at you, and I don't think the camera had cut over to you, and you had this look on your face like you had just put the tee shot in the water. I mean, do you feel like you want to go to the circle and then re-tee and like go for the drop spot, or you just want to like go back to the clubhouse and get a drink? What do you want to do?
When Oracle went over 300, I sold some of it, so I brought it down to half the position size. Now it is the speculative play in my portfolio to say, hey, if it works, it works. But I've still guarded it with the others, the Amazons, Googles, Metas of the world.
They report in early December. That's going to be a very interesting earnings report and probably have an effect on the market overall.
Absolutely.
Oracle, you called it a speculative play. Did you always feel like this was a speculative play?
No, it's a value play at 14.
But that's why I was like, when you said that, I'm like, speculative play. People don't think of Oracle as a speculative play.
Well, nowadays that it's multiple. If you look at its multiple compared to kind of where it was, and also are they going to execute for the next couple of quarters, couple of years, sorry.
Like now you're like, you got to take out your 3-wood. You're like 250 out, and you got a big thing of water in front of you.
Yeah,
right.
But
you hit that shot, you're laying up.
And you're going over the trees.
Also,
okay.
Into the trees.
But I'm there. The idea is that I'm still had a good round at that point, so I can do that and take the risk.
But that can blow your whole round.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do that in overall. I wouldn't take one. Okay, so to your point, I would not put my whole portfolio at risk with one shot, and I wouldn't do it in one stock. It is a small position in an overall portfolio.
All right, good stuff. Santoli's next.
There's no coach. Meeting's here. Watch me work, baby.
I'm sure they're here to see the commissioner of coverage.
When health insurance doesn't cover everything, what's the move?
What the commissioner means is that Aflac gives you cash to help with all those medical bills.
We think you're amazing.
I came to see you, Mom.
Get help with expenses. Health insurance doesn't cover what...
How do we get Aflac?
Man, they gotta ask about it at work.
They are working.
Meet Jan. She's enjoying a beautiful day outdoors with friends and family. She's also managing her type 2 diabetes by taking Jardians, the little pill with a big story to tell. You see, once daily Jardians can help lower your A1C. Jardians works 24/7 in your body to flush out some sugar. And for adults with type 2 diabetes and known heart disease, Jardians can reduce the risk of cardiovascular death too.
Serious side effects include increased ketones in blood or urine and infection between and around the reactions, dehydration, urinary tract or genital yeast infections in men and women, and low blood sugar. Stop taking and tell your doctor right away if you have nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, tiredness, rash, swelling, trouble breathing or swallowing. Tell your doctor about lightheadedness, weakness, fever, pain, tenderness, redness, or swelling between the anus and genitals. You may have increased risk for lower limb loss. Call your doctor right away if you have new pain or tenderness, sores, ulcers, or infection in your legs or feet.
So ask your doctor about Jardians, the little pill with a big story to tell.
Markets can move just as swiftly as your day does. And you may be wondering if your portfolio is keeping up. Choosing the right investment can seem daunting, but we've got you covered. High income potential is on the other line. Answer the call. Before investing, carefully read and consider fund objectives, risks, charges, expenses, and more on the full and summary prospectus at globalxetfs.com.
At Legion, we're a leading provider of engineering, installation, and maintenance. We focus on technically complex buildings like data centers and healthcare, and semiconductors, and higher education. I could not be more proud that we're here today. The future begins now.
Ameriprise Financial has been providing personal financial advice since 1894. Through changing times, clients have counted on us to know they're protected and that their wealth is preserved. For over 6 generations, our advice has been helping people do more than achieve their goals. We've been helping them achieve their goals with confidence. Visit Ameriprise.com to find an advisor near you. Ameriprise Financial. Advice worth talking about.
Welcome back. Michael Santoli, our senior markets commentator, is joining us now for his midday word. You asked the question today, did the bull pass its latest gut check? You're a tough grader, but how would you answer that, teacher?
I think it's pending. I think at this point you would say it's working on it, and at least it's done nothing to suggest that the trend has been broken or the fundamental underpinnings of what's gotten us here are suddenly suspect. But I do think we have an ongoing questioning process. Most of all, we get to cycle high valuations. The NASDAQ 100 kind of overshot the ceiling of its valuation range coming into this last several weeks. And now we're all asking, are we capitalizing AI excessively and unwisely? I think that kind of captures the general state of the debate there. And it's, TBD, I think, on that front. And then is the Fed setting us up for a potential error if it does not cut and we don't really know if the economy is solid? Those are the two main things I think that explain why the market has hesitated here. We've held support a couple of times. At the index level, it seems fine. But there are these kind of unnerving rotations happening and some portfolio stress, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's crypto related, whether it's private credit related, that I do think is making it feel worse than the index would suggest right now in the purge crowded position.
How would you characterize the importance of the NVIDIA call? Forget the earnings.
Yeah.
The call.
I think it's pretty important for them to express confidence that persuades investors through next year. At this point, it's about the duration, not the magnitude of next quarter's revenue guidance or something like that. So we'll see. I think NVIDIA earnings, you just have to get past it and then figure out what the market really is working with. It's, to me, not necessarily something that launches the market up or breaks it down. It kind of gets out of the way so we can really have a clearer view of what we have to for us the rest of the year.
All right, good stuff. I'll see you in a couple hours, Mike. Thank you. Mike Santoli, finals are next.
Nuveen invests with the foresight and vision.
Like and subscribe. Y'all know I'm multitasking. I want to try to get some information that you may be able to utilize. I do not own the rights to that information. Those exclusive rights for that information belong to CNBC Networks. Santorio Hector, like and subscribe. Like and subscribe, Stock Market Savage. Make sure that you subscribe because that is beneficial to you. Because every time we reach a milestone with this channel, we will have a monetary giveaway. It's today. I might be aggravating to y'all today because I really have nothing. I really have nothing to do. You know what I mean? I already placed all my trades. What's up, Rain? Rain Village. Mohitmo Dawanal. Mohitmo Dawanal. What's up? Mohitmo. Did I say that right?
Hello, this is Franklin Graham. This Thanksgiving, what are you thankful for? You're thankful for family, your friends. How about God? That's why are you thankful for God? You see, God made you, He created you, He loved you. He says, Franklin, my life is in such a mess. I'm not sure I'm thankful for my life. That's why God sent His Son Jesus Christ to this earth to save us from this mess of sin that we live in. You see, that's why God sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to this earth to take your sins. He died, He shed His blood on the cross for our sins. But on the third day, God made Him alive. He's not dead, He's alive. And He'll come into your heart right now if you invite Him. Just pray this prayer.
Is that one of Billy Graham's sons?
I'm sorry. Forgive me.
Billy Graham Jr.
I invite Jesus to come into my life.
I know that.
Take control of my life. I want to surrender my life to Him. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh, that's Billy Graham.
Call that number.
Billy Graham still look young, man.
As we stand here today, we are society first started in 2013.
No, I'm multitask.
13 to start building a safe, reliable, and easy to use exchange for people to buy, sell, and store Bitcoin.
You founded your kayak company because you love the ocean, not spreadsheets. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, candidates can find it easier, so you can hire easier. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you. We believe the more personal the solution, the more powerful the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the life you want to build. And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience as sophisticated as you are. It's time for Corient.
What are you doing up there?
Oh, I'm just posting the number of visitors to the Homes.com network this month. It's become the go-to home shopping site.
Got another 14,000.
What?
Gotta go back up.
Homes.com, the place to find a place.
Today, business happens virtually everywhere. You need Supermobile from T-Mobile. In moments of high demand, T-Mobile's network adapts. Put your business connection first. Supermobile, the best business plan on the best network.
This is Jess. Peloton instructor, educator, game changer. She needs her money to work as hard as she does. That's why she uses U.S. Bank Smartly checking and savings, which does exactly that, helping her track her spending and grow her money. Together, we'll achieve more than any of us could alone. You got this, Jess.
We got this.
That's the power of Jess, and this is the power of us.
From the very beginning, you knew she was unlike anyone else, and she always would be. Desert diamonds celebrate all the shades that make her, her. And hues is ever-changing as the desert itself. Sunlit whites, radiant champagnes, smoky whiskeys, natural colors truly unlike anything else, just like her.
Today marks 5 years since the Joe T ETF was launched. Since its inception, it is up 69%. Joe sat down, look at that mug right there. God, he is. He sat down with CNBC Pro to talk about the fund's performance and, of course, his strategy. And you can scan the QR code right on your screen, or you can go to cnbc.com/Joe T Pro Talks. Either way, be sure to check it out. I mean, look at that face.
Thank you for that.
It's a great 5 years. Congratulations.
Thank you, Scott.
I can't believe it's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years. Thank you very much. Thank you to the network. A great conversation Dom and I had, just talking about momentum, the various factors, how investors should be thinking about it, and overall the ETF's usage as a core.
Up 69% over that period of time, which is why Weiss, who doesn't smile for many people, would smile for you.
I've been there from day one.
Thank you, Scott.
And despite Joe's picture.
Give me your final trade, Weiss.
My final trade is United Healthcare. I'm not really positive in the market right here. I think volatility continues and there's safety there.
All right. Surratt.
Thermo Fisher, I think you're seeing more acquisitions, medical products, companies got some tailwind.
All right. Good stuff, Shan.
Healthcare, we think there's going to be some resolution at the government level over the next few weeks, which should be a catalyst.
All right. Well, that's been the big winner. And Joe T.
Consumer staple name, Monster Beverage, 52 economy.
Is that in the T?
That's in the T.
All right. Better be up. Of course, I gave you all that love.
Thank God. Thank you.
All right. Good stuff. We'll see you at 3. All right, thanks very much, Scott and Getty, and congratulations to the Joe T ETF as well. Welcome to the exchange. I'm Dominic Chu in for Kelly Evans today. Stocks are a little changed right now with investors bracing for some key reports later on this week, including 2 names that could set the tone from here on out for AI and the consumer trade, NVIDIA and Walmart, both on deck for earnings. We're going to get you set up for both trades. We're also watching Alphabet shares hitting a fresh record high today after Berkshire Hathaway revealed a $4.3 billion stake in the company. The stock is up nearly 75% since the company's developers conference that happened back in May. And Bitcoin prices bouncing just a bit after dropping to 92,000 over the weekend. We're just above 93,000 right now, but we're still hovering the lows that we saw back in April. So we begin with the big week for the markets overall. NVIDIA reporting this Wednesday, followed by the first big piece of economic data since the government shutdown ended on Thursday. The BLS releasing the September jobs report. So could these 2 events get the markets back on some solid footing? Joining me now is Charles Bobrinskoy, Vice Chairman and Head of Investment Group at Ariel Investments. Charlie, it's great to see you here. If you look at the markets as they stand right now, this is maybe a little bit of a churn. But you can't maybe really sugarcoat the idea that we've pulled back a decent amount from the record highs we saw at the end of last month. Is it scary for you right now?
Well, when we talk about the market, we have to be careful because there are different parts of the market that clearly are scary and other parts are very reasonable. And obviously the big distinction is large cap growth, I think, is scary. Trading at record highs, certainly record highs relative to historic valuations. There's some big names that if they disappoint slightly have seen some big downturns. So we would call large cap growth, I would say, scary. But I would say small and mid cap value are kind of in line, right around historic valuations. Lots of great companies trading for 9, 10, 11, 12 times earnings. So you've got to focus on that part of the market. The best predictor of future performance is starting valuation. And right now we've got reasonable valuations in small and mid cap value, but valuations are not reasonable in large cap growth.
Charlie, we've been talking about this idea that valuations could be due for some kind of a mean reversion for months, quarters, and maybe even multiple years at this point. What makes you feel confident
that valuation catch-up trade in other parts of the not-so-overvalued market are going to actually now play catch-up instead of just stalling out like they have over the course of the past several years?
Well, we had some good signs in the third quarter, Dom. We had some of the names that you and I talk about all the time did quite well, actually. A number of the consumer discretionary names, Apache, the oil company, did quite well. We had very strong performance in small cap value in the third quarter. Now, I will admit, October didn't continue on that trend, but we are seeing signs that people are starting to get nervous about valuations in the S&P and looking for pockets of value, and those clearly is more towards the smaller end of the market.
Charlie, what kind of stocks are we talking about here? There are many value-oriented parts of the market, both in large and small caps, and that big middle ground and mid caps as well. What are the types of companies that stand out in your mind for that shopping list?
Yeah, so longer term, I think we got to start thinking about inflation, not just because it's going to affect short-term changes in interest rates and whether the Fed's going to cut or not. I think there are a lot of forces here that are going to send inflation higher. The first being massive trillion-dollar deficits. Both parties seem to have lost the interest in fighting deficits. That's number one. Number two, trade wars are inflationary. Number three, tariffs are inflationary. And four, restrictions on immigration are modestly inflationary. Lower cost wages, which you get generally from immigrants, tends to keep a lid on inflation. So all of those things moving in the wrong direction mean that things like commodities, means like oil, those companies are cheap. We've already seen it in gold. Barrick Mining had more than doubled this year, but we're going to see other names that benefit from inflation. They're treating as good values now.
Now, like what? We're talking about, of course, oil and gas is one of those types of sectors to focus on as well, if you're talking about inflation. Right?
That's exactly right. Stuff in the ground. So we like Mosaic, which has wonderful fertilizer business, agricultural fertilizer business. We like Schlumberger, which helps oil companies find that oil around the world. And one of our favorites has always been Apache. It's taken a long time to get that stock going in the right way, but we think that there's been less capital expenditures in oil exploration. People are going to need more oil and gas over the next few years, and Apache is very well positioned for that.
All right, so Charlie, please just stand by for one moment here. I want to bring in our own Steve Leeson, who's been reporting on some of the liquidity concerns that have been focusing in on the markets these days, and that the Fed is maybe looking to smooth over a bit. Steve.
Yeah, Don, the rate that financial institutions charge each other for lending on collateral, the critical repo rate, it's the plumbing of the system. It's been the subject of some concerning volatility the past several weeks and has gained the attention of the market participants and, of course, Fed officials who have been talking about it. A New York Fed official confirming to CNBC over the weekend that President John Williams quietly convened a meeting with representatives of most of the 25 primary dealers to urge them to keep using the Fed's standing repo facility put in place in the wake of the pandemic to serve as a backstop for increases in volatility and liquidity crunches that we may have. The repo rate used to finance trillions in treasuries doesn't usually move much until the Fed moves, but it's been far more volatile lately, a potential sign of a lack of liquidity. Volatility has come down since a surge at the end of October, but it's remained elevated, and there could be more to come. Among the reasons cited for the stress, the decline in the Fed's balance sheet, too much, the rebuilding of the Treasury's general account as well, strong bill issuance by the Treasury, and banks being reluctant to lend into the repo market right now. The Fed hopes by getting dealers to use this new repo facility, it can avoid a bigger intervention, but that could yet happen. So far, the level of volatility, modest compared to some of the more newsworthy episodes you and I have reported on, Don, over the years, but there are considerable stress points to come that officials say they're going to watch closely, Don.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Stick around, please, for us. Charlie, is this something that you would actually worry about? I know we've talked at length in the past about your kind of exposure to banks, your concerns around them. Does this at all raise a red flag to you, this idea that we might have a liquidity crisis that's not yet here, but that the initial tea leaves are starting to maybe show?
See, I'd be on the other side of this. If anything, I've seen too much liquidity. I've seen the debt markets be extremely lenient in lending levels, spreads, high yield spreads, extremely tight. So if anything, I would say that there isn't quite the level of credit scrutiny that we need on some leveraged companies. There's all this new money coming into private credit funds. So the short answer is it's good that people are paying attention. I'm glad that people are watching the plumbing. But at this point, I don't see any backup. If anything, I'm a little worried about a lot of liquidity in the market.
Let's talk, Charlie, about the companies that are the most tied to that so-called plumbing in the system. Those are the big banks, whether they're the money center ones like JP Morgan, Bank of America, some of the bigger regional banks out there. Is that financials trade something that you're watching right now as well to see whether or not there's any kind of an opportunity there, given the sell-off in mega cap technology?
Yeah, again, we got to say the larger banks, I think, are pretty fully priced. My grandfather always taught me to buy large banks when they're selling at 1 times book and sell them when they're trading at 2 times book. And we have a lot of the biggest banks that are very close to 2 times. Goldman Sachs over 2 times. So I think more of the value in banking is in regional banks, smaller local banks that are trading at 1.3, 1.4 times book, PEs of 9, 10. There's decent value in the regional banking stocks, not such great value in the large cap banking stocks.
Steve, do you feel as though this is a concern that the Fed is at least voicing right now, because there is a possible fear that there is a contagion's not the right word for it right now, but that there could be a ripple effect for these liquidity concerns in the financial system itself with the banks?
I think so. I think they feel like they have the tools to deal with this. I think they feel like it's not, I forget which way it goes. DEFCON 1, is that the worst one? It's not DEFCON 1 at this point. It's just, guys, look out here. This is something that we've seen and we've marked. The October 31st surge was something that was worth looking at. Came down from there, came back a little bit. And the liquidity issue is not so much the liquidity that Charlie's talking about. It's liquidity and sort of overnight repo. It's financing collateral is what it is. And the banks are husbanding their cash. That's one of the reasons here. There's a lot of different things that are happening, Dom, and we just have to be careful because the government's trying to sell an awful lot of treasuries, and that's an issue. And rates are coming down, at least on the short end, from the Fed side. And I will say it's interesting that perhaps because of this liquidity concern, these issues out there, right now the probability of a rate cut in December has now fallen to what I think is a new low for the contract, 34%. But there's also talks, Dom, that the Fed may come back in and make some adjustments to its balance sheet, as in adding assets as soon as January. That's something that Bank of America was thinking about in a report issued over the weekend.
Hey, Charlie, we're going to give you the last word here. From a macroeconomic perspective, given everything you've heard about from Steve with regard to rates, liquidity, given what you now know about valuations, do you think the economy is in an okay place, good place, or maybe even a sliding place right now?
Put me down for okay place. There are an awful lot of incentives for the current administration to want the economy to perform well going into an election year next year. So I put me down for okay place, but with these headwinds, tariffs are not good. We need globalization. We have some headwind.
All right. Charlie, thank you very much for that. Charles Babrinskoy, also Steve Leisman. We appreciate the conversation. Coming up on the show, NVIDIA is the headliner for earnings this week. The options market's pricing in a 7% move for the world's most valuable company, up or down on the heels of earnings. We're going to look at how to position ahead of that big print. Plus, we're getting our first big wave of retail earnings reports this season with Home Depot, Lowe's, Target, Walmart, Best Buy, others on deck to report. After the break, we'll look at what to expect, who's most likely to miss or exceed, and how some of the near-term risks at retail are playing out. The Exchange is back after this.
This is The Exchange on CNBC.
At Corient, wealth management begins and ends with you.
Covelo.
We believe the more personal the solution,
Covelo.
the result. We treat your goals as our own. We never lose focus on the
You know English?
And our experienced advisors design custom-built strategies to help you get there. It's time for a wealth management experience.
Kate Covello.
As you are. It's time for Corient.
Today's digital world.
I'm moving around. I'm glad I see likes and I see some likes. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. I'm moving around. Today is one of those days where it's not much to do. I already placed the trades that I will be making today. Those are the only trades that I will be making today. And we're trading the market still, but it's just not many plays to trace. You know what I mean?
Reshaping how business gets done. On November 21st, I'll be in Palm Beach, North
These are my trades for the day. From this week forward, I'm going to start journaling my trades. The month chart show lower highs and lower lows. I checked across some different trading intervals, the 5-minute intervals, the 30-second intervals. And they all, you know what I mean, seem to show me the same thing according to the Fibonacci. You know, it's some programming that you should really just continue to. It's some learning that you should just continue to just take it in over and over and over again, like Fibonacci candlestick reading. Like you should do some Fibonacci candlestick classes every day. Like memorize those patterns, memorize the Fibonacci, memorize the terminology.
Retail giants like Walmart, Home Depot, and Target, as you can see, they are scheduled to report their earnings throughout
The patterns and the movements start to become one when you recognize them, like instinctively.
Is bleak going into the holiday season as rising inflation weighs on the consumer health, with low-income consumers getting squeezed the absolute most. For more, let's bring in Jihan Bond.
Let's go to a 1 week chart on this, baby. See, look, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. Let's go to a 1 month. Now, if we was to stretch out to a 3 month, what's the story over the course of 3 months? You know why? I'm going to tell y'all why this is important. Because they'll let you get your little money, but if you're not smart, guess where they'll take you? When we go to a 3 month chart, look, you do know that people do giant leaps. The guys from Earn Your Leisure, they are known for talking about how they do leaps 1-2 years out. So you don't think that they trying to shake a motherfucker from 1,000% profit, 2,000% profit, because he swung out on a leap that's out 1 year, maybe 2 years. He's trying to shake them early, like. So go on a 3 month chart, and then go to on a 3 month chart to 5-minute intervals on a 3 month chart. What you see? You see on a 3 month chart in 5-minute intervals that this market is going down. That's a continuation of the downtrend right here. That is a continuation of the downtrend. Let's look. What was right here? November. I said a 3 month chart. This is not that. I want a 3 month chart, homie. What is you doing?
Home Depot, Lowe's, and maybe even Costco, for those folks out there who are kind of looking at what these types of companies can tell us about the health of the consumer as well.
I want a 3 month chart, and I want it. Give me a 3 month chart in 5-minute intervals. I'll take 5, B. What do you mean? August, September, October, November. Dude, a 3 month fucking chart. You see how they be? They want to play games and shit, babe.
report because they provide monthly sales.
Check this out.
More additional disclosures from Costco from here. They're still holding up just fine, partly because they have more exposure to middle to high income consumers who are holding up a lot more.
150, October the 20th.
Let's explore that theme right now as well. I had mentioned that
150, October the 20th. We gonna get 3 touches. Check this out. 150, October the 20th.
Which ones, retailer-wise, are the most susceptible to perhaps a drop-off in that middle to lower income spending?
So we were talking about the small recipients specifically, the Walmart, the dollar stores, and the
150, August the 20th.
recipients, and we're likely going to see some pretty near-term volatility there given the delay in SNAP funding. On top of that, I think broadly speaking, my coverage universe companies tend to be exposed to middle income, slightly higher income cohorts. Costco and home improvement retailers tend to be more insulated from the lower end and more exposed to middle to high income consumers. So less exposed to the near term generation, even though, as I said, home improvement overall still very much a macro driven
150, 150.
And before we let you go,
September the 8th.
what kinds of things you would need to see?
You go down, if I go down a little bit, it definitely hit 150 September the 8th. 150 October the 20th. 150 September the 8th. Okay, let's count this. 150 October the 20th. October the 20th.
The labor market goes from here, especially on consumer spending, right? Does wage growth actually start to outpace inflation growth?
October the 20th.
Spending power growing from here, which is a
150
point that we're watching out for.
September the 5th. 150 September
Their impact on the nearest income cohorts are starting to getting more or less benefits than others, and how they plan to use such incremental pressure and follow on spending or not next year is also critical to watch out for.
All right, Bernstein.
today, November 150. November 17. That's the 3 touches.
Booking Holdings, TripAdvisor, all taking a dip on that news. Keep an eye on those. We'll be back after this.
What's that? August? Oh, August. August 25th. August 25th. August the 25th. September. It went all the way up in October to in November. 2 touches. August the 25th, it hit 150. September the 5th, it hit 150. This week, Palantir gonna come down to 160, 150. I'm thinking 150. So for anybody who got in at 150 on the upside call, on a giant leap, they trying to shake them out, create liquidity in those contracts that's held up in those leaps. Yeah. Yeah, it's a real forceful shakeout going down from yeah. So Palantir and Nvidia, they gonna go down. They gonna go down. You know what I'm saying? I hope you got your perseverance on. I hope you have your perseverance on.
And updates it automatically. How easy is that?
Khalid is my nephew. I have a nephew named Khalid for sure. He black as hell. Yeah. That's my nephew. That's my ex-wife nephew. That's my nephew by marriage, but that's my nephew. He a raw hip hop artist. If you know him, tell him to tap in with me. Tell him to send me a DM on my IG, Santorio Hector. I have a nephew named Khalid. Khalid Ra. Khalid Ra. I don't know where he works at. I haven't seen him in a while. If you know him though, if you know my nephew Khalid, tell him to get in touch. Tell him to get in touch with me. Santorio Hector. Tell him Black. Tell him Black. Tell him your Uncle Black. Tell him Marcel. Tell him Marcel said get in touch with him. I'm under my professionally known as name, Santorio Hector. Tell him to hit me in my IG.
Which are down even more so, 8% right now, after Morgan Stanley double downgraded that stock to an underweight or sell from a prior overweight or buy. The analysts there are slight profit in target price to $144.
We gonna print some money on some put options contracts this week. And I'm not really gonna make too many moves. I'm really gonna look at the volatility of the market to really see what the market is doing. The VIX is hovering at 35. It hasn't really hovered over at 35 in a long time as far as the share price. And so the VIX share price is hovering at $35 a share. And we all, if you don't know, you should know that when the VIX goes up, usually when the VIX is trending up, the market overall as a whole is trending down. I have a nephew named Khalid. That's my nephew by marriage. You know what I mean? He was an artist on my record label. We had some tracks together that was put out. I was trying to groom him as an artist, but we both was in the streets, man. Khalid was like one of my right-hand men in my life of crime out in Ashtabula when I moved out to Ashtabula, because it was a Crip city. But it was a lot of GDs out there, and I had some GD homegirls. So I brought my nephew out there. That's my wife's nephew, but he a GD. He a real GD. And he ain't play. He was with the business. So I brought him out there with me to help me control my territory. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. We did that. He lived out in Ashtabula for a minute. Him and his girl. He brought his girl out there and everything. We was getting money. If you know Khalid, tell him to hit me in my DM. Tell him your Uncle Marcel, tell him your Uncle Black said DM him under his IG, Santorio Hector. Santorio Hector.
And ordered him to pay millions in damages, but the money was never paid before Simpson died last year.
All right, I got to get ready I got a meeting with the bank, so a meeting with the bank. I got to get up off of this phone and get ready for my meeting with the bank and whatnot.
Has not been as smooth as some expected. Coming up next, we'll take a look at what the options market is saying about Nvidia's earnings report this week and how investors can take advantage of that price.
Savage.
And as we head out to break,
show you how we gonna get to this money, and we will build $1 million portfolio, and we will print the money out the stock market before it's all said and done. I need all of y'all to like and subscribe. At 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving away $1,000 personally. We're going to randomly select 10 people, and they will each get a $100 monetary gift from me for supporting the channel once we reach 1,000 subscribers, at which time we will be able to monetize the channel and participate in ad profit sharing. You know what I mean? Tap in with your boy, Santorio Hector. Download the albums on all music platforms. And you know what I mean?
We are seeing a
Follow me on my journey to make this happen. You know what I mean?
When the tariffs
Real
were first
talk.
announced, we actually saw kind of a retaliatory effort.
Go